I'm Ted Keys, your host and top freight agent training expert here in Southern California. Welcome to this edition of your Freight Sales Success Training. After watching and applying it, you'll move more freight efficiently, effectively, and effortlessly, and make more money financially. And if you have any questions, call me, Ted Keys, at 626-309-9141. Today's topic comes from the front lines of my 30-plus years of business, sales, and freight moving success. Now enjoy watching, learning, and applying. Hello and welcome to my Tuesday conference call. I'm Ted Keys, your host and top freight agent training expert here in Southern California. This is a free, high-powered meeting I hold live every Tuesday for top-producing, new, and struggling freight agents at 2 p.m. Pacific Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. On the call today, I will show you how to move more freight efficiently, effectively, and effortlessly so you make more money financially. And after the call, go to my website, tedkeysonline.com, to hear more of my podcasts, read more of my blog posts, watch more of my videos, and while you're there, visit my Freight Sales Success Store for top-notch freight moving products to truly explode your freight business today. When you arrive at my Freight Sales Success Store, you will see a host of products that are available. First one you'll see there is my Freight Sales Success Guide for beginner and struggling freight agents. I do, however, provide this for when you join our top producing freight sales office. Another product you'll see there is my Freight Sales Success Quotes. These quotes provide you with daily motivation to do what's important, to get on the phone and connect and build relationships with the marketplace. Third product you'll see there is my Freight Sales Success Training. This is a 17-video course. It'll take you literally from knowing little or nothing about freight to moving your first freight load and beyond. You'll also see there for sale again is my Freight Sales Success Skills. This product provides those intricate little skills that are required to handle different situations that you come in contact with. However, my Freight Sales Success Skills, along with my other products, are available today for purchase in my Freight Sales Success Store. And while you're there at my store taking in all this free information, on any page on my website you happen to be on, just over to the right, go over to the right and enter your contact details. By doing that, you'll receive your email invite to this and every call. Not only that, you'll receive the attachments that I provide on each and every call. And also, just as a freebie for opting in, you'll receive my free report. Again, it's just a free report. 11 ways freight agents will increase their income. Go through this as a beginning, struggling freight agent. This report will assist you in increasing your income. And just so you know, that report there has been downloaded thousands of times before. And if you have any questions whatsoever about what I went over today, or more importantly, more specifically, are you ready to join our top producing freight sales team? Then give me, Ted Keys, a call. I'm at 626-309-9141. Today's training topic is these freight sales strategies get results. These freight sales strategies get results. What do I mean by freight sales strategies? Well, there are infinite freight sales strategies out there. Today we're specifically going to talk about strategies using this instrument here, the telephone. This is the best instrument that you can use in our profession, and that is the telephone. It's not a computer, but it's this object right here. Why? Because verbally communicating with freight prospects is the best way to communicate by far of all. So for those of you that are on my contact list, just scroll down to that email invite that I sent you today, open up that free attachment, and we are going to go over again these freight sales strategies get results. Now, as I said earlier, one of the best forms, or the best form of technology that you can use in our profession is the telephone. So let's talk about utilizing the telephone as a strategy in our profession. So let me start off by giving you a fact. I love facts. My hope and my prayer is that this sinks in and that you actually think about it and actually utilize it. But the fact I'm going to share with you today is successful freight sales prospecting using the phone is way more effective than email prospecting. Now, why is that? Well, it's because so many of your freight sales competitors focus on prospecting with emails and neglect this instrument's value. Again, that's the telephone. So I'm going to talk about nine strategies to develop to ensure that your freight sales phone skills are up to snuff, meaning they're at their highest quality. And these are key to developing, they're key to developing an unstoppable phone prospecting strategy, using the telephone. Start using these strategies today and you'll soon you'll really crush your freight sales goals using the telephone and not your computer. So your first phone strategy that you're going to utilize your first strategy is to plan your first 10 seconds. Plan your first 10 seconds when you get on the phone with a freight sales prospect or a future customer of yours. Now, it sounds simple, okay? And really, it is simple. It is simple to plan those first 10 seconds that you're going to use. However, few freight sales agents don't take the time to plan what they're going to say when shipping decision makers actually get on the phone. So think about it. You've called this guy 4 times now. He finally gets on the phone and you're sitting there stumbling and fumbling over your words. I mean, how useless is that? So you really have to plan out your first 10 seconds. The truth is, most freight sales prospects decide within the first 20 seconds of a call whether they'll hang up on you or not. They're going to decide right away. And I do it the same. I do it when individuals call me to join our office. I can usually tell within 20 seconds if that individual has what it takes to become a successful agent or not. So for those of you that are on our office or in our office, hey, you did a great job of impressing me with your first phone call. Don't leave anything to chance, okay? That's my main point here. Don't leave anything to chance. Decide exactly what you'll say at the start of every phone call that you place, alrighty? So plan out those first 10 seconds. Now, if you really want to get good at this, go to my website, go to my Freight Sales Success Store, purchase my Freight Sales Success Guide. When you do, go to that document called the Freight Sales Call Information Sheet. That has all the pertinent answers that you're going to ask when you finally get through to a shipping decision maker. So that's all part of planning out your first 10 seconds. Second phone strategy is to start with their freight challenges. Again, it's not about you. Start with their freight challenges. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, okay, you finally got your freight prospect on the line. Now, what do? Well, take control of the conversation by talking about their common freight challenges that only they are familiar with. Now, how do you know what they're familiar with? Well, you know what they're familiar with because you've been around a while and you know what freight challenges are, okay? Always remember this point, and regardless of what you're doing, your freight prospects don't care about your freight service or the freight service that you're offering. They care only about you solving their freight moving frustrations, guys, provided that you get that far with them, provided that you get past that first 20 seconds, all right? So use your initial calls to dive right into their shipping challenges. First strategy, plan your first 10 seconds. Second strategy, start with their freight challenges. Don't make it about you. Again, always make it about them. Third phone strategy is to ask really detailed and pertinent questions. Really ask detailed, pertinent questions. So what's the biggest mistakes freight sales agents make on the phone? They don't ask those pertinent questions that I just talked about. It's great to start off your first 30 seconds with relatable issues, but immediately start asking questions about that. Now, here's an example. List those freight challenges that I mentioned in the earlier point when I talked about the questions to ask that typically drive other prospects to you. So here's an example, all right? Ask your prospect, about asking pertinent questions. Question, do any of these challenges sound familiar to you? Or is that challenge what you have to deal with, all right? Again, as you ask these, you're going to talk about the freight challenges that they have. Then keep asking those questions as often as you can while your conversation progresses to a much tighter relationship. Third phone strategy is to ask those pertinent questions. Remember, again, it's not about you, it's all about them. So when I say ask questions, you're not going to ask yourself questions, you're going to ask them questions. Third strategy, ask pertinent questions. Fourth phone strategy I'm going to talk about here is to tone down your enthusiasm, all right? I mean, really tone down your enthusiasm. That's one of the mistakes that individuals make when they call freight prospects. They've got their voice at this real high pitch. I mean, their words aren't planned out. They don't sound professional. Freight sales prospects, they can tell that they've got a newbie on the phone. And if that's why you're not moving freight, it's because you still sound like a newbie. You've got to continue to make contact so when you do sound professional, that's when they give you the opportunity. However, let's go back to the strategy here. Tone down your enthusiasm. You see, most new freight sales agents show way too much enthusiasm on the phone, and that sabotages them from the get-go, just like I talked about earlier, guys. Instead, tone it down. Use an approach that's genuine and relatable, an approach that your prospect can relate to with you. How do you do that? Well, use a soft, quiet voice when you greet your freight prospect. That's the first thing. You're going to get a lot more attention that way. All right. So, your fourth strategy is to tone down your enthusiasm. Fifth phone strategy. All right. Just moving on here. Fifth phone strategy is be persistent and keep calling. Be persistent and keep calling. There's a fact that I always talk about, especially for beginners, for new freight agents. 80% of your sales will come between your 5th and your 12th contact. You see, I get this question all the time. Hey, I've been in contact now with this individual 2 or 3 times. Well, 2 or 3 times doesn't do anything, especially if you're new in the profession. I'll say it again, 80% of your sales come between your 5th and your 12th contact. What does that mean? That means that you have to be persistent. Not only do you have to be persistent, but you have to keep calling. You see, phone sales, just in general, it takes patience and a whole lot of persistence. My question is, how persistent are you? How patient are you? How persistent are you? You can't just call freight prospects once or twice, leave a few voicemails, and then brush them off because they're not returning your calls. Just because prospects ignore you one or two of your voicemails, that doesn't mean that they aren't interested in your freight service. And as I said earlier, 80% of your first sales will come between your 5th and your 12th contact. How many times do I have to repeat that? Well, as many times as I have to. Here's my main point. Phone prospecting takes time, so be persistent. You got to be persistent in this profession. Fifth strategy, again, be persistent and keep calling. Sixth phone strategy is leave attention getting voicemails. Leave attention getting voicemails. So what do I mean by that? Well, your ideal freight prospects are used to getting voicemails that are stiff, serious, and outright boring. Okay? Stiff, serious, outright boring. So what do? Well, be tongue-in-cheek and have some fun with your voicemails. I mean, you can do that, all right? You're more likely to stand out from the stiff crowd and capture your freight prospect's attention when you do it that way. I mean, typically, when people, when beginner freight agents leave a voicemail, yeah, it's stiff and boring, and unfortunately, they make it about them. All right, so how do you not leave a stiff and boring voicemail? Well, here's a good example. All right, respond with, "I'm having a challenge getting through to you." I mean, for all I know, this could be the fourth or fifth time that they've contacted you. But either way, hey, "I'm having a challenge getting through to you. Is it because you're too busy or want nothing to do with me?" All right. So you can say this because you've called there 5 or 6 times. All right. Is that the case? If that's the case, just let me know. All right. Just by saying "just let me know" means that you're putting something out there so they will get back to you. You're not saying "just let me know" and then I'll go away. You're saying "just let me know" so you actually call me back and communicate with me. You see, provocative voicemails are much more likely to get your prospect's attention and get the responses that you're seeking. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. So the 6th strategy is leave attention getting voicemails. 7th strategy, and remember, I'm going over 9 here. There are 9 great strategies for you to utilize as you start making contact or get back to making contact with your prospects tomorrow. So the 7th strategy is schedule your next call right away with your prospects. Schedule your next call right away with your prospects. At the end of your first prospecting call, don't hang up after making a reference to following up soon, okay? Don't ever use "following up soon." Basically, that's the kiss of death. Schedule an exact date, okay? Never say "I'm going to follow up soon." What you're going to do is you're going to schedule an exact date when you're going to follow up and a time for your next phone call, and send your freight prospect an email while you're still on the phone together with them. So schedule your next call right away. Hey, if you agree that you're going to call a week from now, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, write it down, okay? And even if you can, again, if you're pretty talented, send them an email because you just got their email because they allowed it to, they gave it to you. So schedule that next call right away. Don't leave anything up to chance, all right? 8th phone strategy that you're going to utilize is stick to your phone commitments. That goes right in hand with number 7. 8 is stick to your phone commitments. Never ever miss a phone call with a freight prospect. I mean, that's so easy to understand. Just never miss that commitment to call them back. It sounds obvious, but way too many new freight sales agents and even experienced ones don't follow up with their freight prospects, even when the first call was a great one, okay? Just because you had a great first call with a prospect and they gave you all the information that you want, high probability as soon as they hang up the phone, you will be a memory. They are not going to remember going into tomorrow, and next week, "Hey, boy, that Ted, he sounded so great. I am really waiting for him to call me back." I mean, you're going to be a distant memory. So if you've scheduled that follow-up call, then commit to it, all right? Don't let an opportunity get away because you're disorganized, all right? Stay organized with notes to call those freight prospects on the days you promised to call them back. So your 8th strategy is to stick to your phone commitments. Not only schedule when you're going to call back, but then stick to it. That's the 8th strategy. 9th strategy is call during abnormal hours. Okay, notice how I said abnormal hours. Don't call during normal hours. Call during abnormal hours. The best prospecting calls are made, they're made before 9 a.m. and they're made after 5 p.m. and during the weekend. Now, why is that? Well, high-level prospects likely pick up the phone at odd hours. I mean, that's just the way it is. And you'll usually talk to a gatekeeper when you call during normal business hours. I mean, just think about it. You wonder, gee, between 9 and 5, when should I call this guy? Well, high probability, even when you do call him, you're going to be talking to a gatekeeper. So call during abnormal hours. Just like I said, before 9. I mean, if this guy is a sharp guy, if this gal is a sharp gal, they're going to be in there before 9, okay? So call shipping decision makers early in the morning, in the evening, or Saturdays afternoon for your best results. 9 great strategies for you to utilize that get results. Let me just go over these real quickly. First one, plan out your first 10 seconds. Second one is to start with their freight challenges. Again, don't make it about you, make it about them. Start with their freight challenges. Third one is you're going to ask pertinent questions. Fourth one is you're going to tone down your enthusiasm. Fifth, be persistent and keep calling. Sixth is to leave attention getting voicemails. Number 7, schedule your next call right away. 8, stick to your phone commitments. 9, call during abnormal hours, not during normal hours, but abnormal hours. 9 great strategies that get results. And again, I didn't say anything about using the computer or sending out emails. I talked about utilizing the telephone, one of the greatest instruments ever developed. Because let's face it, freight sales is all about connecting. It's all about building relationships with the marketplace. The best way to do that is verbally. You don't have to do it face to face, but doing it verbally, mouth to mouth. Utilize the telephone to do that. Let's move on to attachment number 2, and let me give you some motivation so you can actually pick up the telephone and actually utilize it. That is the best way to do it, to get yourself motivated every day. Let's go over attachment number 2. Again, these attachments, number 2 through 7, come straight out of my Freight Sales Success quotes, my manual at my Freight Sales Success store. Let's go over these motivations here from my Freight Sales Success quotes. So attachment number 2, just go ahead and open that up and let's read it. Remember, here's what it says. Remember when you're calling your prospects and customers. My question is this: what do you think causes a sales slump? Okay, what do you think causes a sales slump? Not only a sales slump, but just the ability to get your sales moving, all right? Well, I'll tell you this. You can't blame your trainer. You can't blame the marketplace. You can't blame carriers or trucking companies. Who do you blame? All you can do is blame yourself. Because I'll say it again, if you're witnessing a slump, or not even a slump at all, you're not even seeing that rise, it's because you're not doing what's required to be effective and successful, all right? It's you. You are the reason why you're in a slump, okay? You can't blame anybody but you. So what do? Get on the telephone and make connections with the marketplace. Verbal connections with the marketplace. What do you do verbally? Hey, ask them what's moving today. John, Sue, I called you last week. You told me to call you this week. What's moving today? What's moving this week? What's moving this hour? What's moving this month? How can I assist you in moving your freight? Please put me on your freight list, okay? You're the reason if you're in a slump, plain and simple. Let's go ahead and open attachment number 3, guys. Attachment number 3 of our Freight Sales Motivation reads here. Remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, if you desire money for your business, you have to get attention. If you desire money, not only for your business, but also for your livelihood, you have to get attention. Again, what's the best way of getting attention? It's by using the telephone. It's not by using your computer. It's not by using emails. It's by using the telephone. So if you desire money, what do you have to do? You've got to use the telephone, get on the telephone, and make connections with the marketplace, just like I've been training you all along here. So in order to get up from where you are, whether you're in a slump or whether you're just starting, you have to get attention. Where do you get attention from? You get it from your freight prospects. One more time, if you desire money for your business or your livelihood, you've got to get attention. The more attention you get, the better off you are. Hey, the more that contact list increases and you actually get in contact with the list using a telephone, you've got the upper hand. Let's move on to attachment number 4 there, guys. Attachment number 4 of your freight sales motivation is, remember when you're calling your prospects and customers, never ask questions and not get answers to them. Part of building relationships with your freight prospects is asking them a series of questions. However, don't ever ask questions and not get answers. One of the reasons why you won't get answers is because you won't close your mouth so your freight prospect can give you the answer. You see, when you get answers, then you can actually take that information and utilize it. You can utilize it to get more answers or do a little more research on your prospect. It doesn't matter what it is, but don't ever ask a question and not get an answer to it, okay? Now, if they just flat out say, hey, I won't tell you what individuals are moving our freight, okay? If they don't tell you, all right, there's not a whole lot you can do, because a lot of times you'll call a freight prospect and they'll say, hey, our customers do that. I mean, it's on the tip of your tongue to ask who their customers are. Well, if you've got the gumption, just go ahead and ask. All they can say is, I won't give you that information. But what's the harm in asking? So never ask questions and not get the answers, especially if they're generic or if they're basic questions. Hey, you know, how often do you ship a week? I mean, that's a generic question that you can ask. If they say I ship 1 load a month, you've got to think about it. Do I want to deal with this prospect if they only ship 1 load a month? See, that's an answer that you've got that you can now actually utilize and make a decision on it. So never ask questions and not get answers to them, because if you don't get answers, you can't move forward. Let's move on to attachment number 5 there. Just open that up down at the bottom of your invite today. Remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, whoever gets answers is in control of the freight sales process. When you get answers, you've got control of the process. Why? Because you have information that you can now utilize, and utilize it to the best of your ability. Don't just let it sit off to the side or write it down on your sales call information sheet and not do anything with it. Only when you do something with it do you have control, okay? But let me just say it one more time. Remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, whoever gets answers, all right? Whoever gets answers to their questions is truly in control of the freight sales process. If you don't get answers, what can you do with nothing? What can you do, all right? You can only do something when you have information, and information is key, especially in building that relationship. Let's move on to attachment number 6, guys. Attachment number 6 reads, remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, always, always, always strive to get better and not staying average. Always strive to get better and not staying average. If you're not getting better, you're not moving forward. If you're not moving forward and not getting better, your bank account is not increasing at all. And if your bank account isn't increasing at all, you're not getting your bills paid. How do you get your bills paid? How do you get your bank account to increase? You get it to increase by becoming more knowledgeable, becoming more persistent, more determined, but you do it by getting better at the profession. I mean, to get better in this profession, you can be infinitely better than when you first started, okay? But always, always, always strive to get better. Let me give you an example. When I first started doing conference calls on video here, I was not good at all. I'd like to think that as I do more and more of them, I get better and better at giving you information that's required to be successful in the profession. So always strive to get better and not staying average. I mean, just think, do you want to be a great freight sales agent or just an average one earning $500 a week? That's average. Let's move on to our last attachment there, which reads, remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, selling your butt off leads to banking your butt off. The two are related, okay? You sell a lot, your bank is gonna fill up. You don't sell, you don't move freight, your bank account is gonna stay here. When you sell your butt off, your bank account is going to increase. The two go hand in hand. Not only sell your butt off, but really get good at selling your butt off. When you really get good at it, then your bank account just continues to climb. But it's not going to happen if you don't sell and pick up the phone, this thing here, and connect with the marketplace. One more time, remember when you're calling your prospects and customers, selling your butt off. I mean, really moving load after load after load. And how do you do that? Build your contact list. Build your contact list, and you're going to see over time that, hey, this customer over here, they really move 50 loads a week, and I'm doing 5 of them. Gee, my goal is to do 10 of them. How do you do that? By continuing to get better at the profession. Remember, when you're calling your prospects and customers, selling your butt off leads to banking your butt off. Great topic today. Again, these freight sales strategies get results. Put them into practice. You'll see when you put them into practice the results that you'll get. If you don't put them into practice, your results will be minimal to nothing. Great topic today. Thanks for joining me today on my Tuesday conference call. I will be doing this again next Tuesday, same time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Been a pleasure talking to all of you today. Take care. God bless. I'll see you all again next Tuesday on my Tuesday conference call. Take care, God bless, and goodbye.